Welcome to Pro Trade Series with your host, me, Peter Galenko, the YouTube channel where you get rewarded for commenting on the videos, so make sure you hit that notification bell. Let's get it started. What it do, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Pro Trade Series. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing my VVS Stoner Coin project versus VVS Finance's VVS coin. To summarize this entire debate really succinctly, VVS Finance's crypto token project is like, if we're talking about VVS diamonds here, they're basically what you would get out of a vending machine. Not even what you get out of like one of those claw machines, or something like that at the mall. Like they're what you would get out of like a vending machine for 75 cents. In regards to VVS diamonds for cryptocurrency projects. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. And VVS Stoner Coin is more like infinite hope diamonds is the way to best describe the VVS Stoner Coin project, which is to be launched. And give you a little bit of a backstory. The other year, I registered VVS Cryptocurrency LLC. I registered the domain name vvs.diamonds. I also registered the domain name StonerCoin.com. And I'm planning on launching it through StonerCoin.com. And I am still going for the ticker symbol VVS. Now, another project just popped up a few months ago, and long after I announced my project that I'd be using the VVS ticker symbol, they popped up. And anyway, after I had already started negotiations with exchanges to get a fiat currency trading pair. I identified a project manager that has worked with like 8 different blockchain projects and major exchanges to get their coins listed. I identified a awesome project manager, and a few weeks before even becoming aware of the VVS Finance VVS coin, I found out, or not found out, I had a meeting with somebody that was interested in helping finance the project, and we were talking about getting an office space and all that sort of thing. And the other year, I identified a development team and have all the paperwork for quotes, that sort of thing, for developing a custom payment portal, as well as VVS Stoner Coin crypto collectibles, which are somewhat like NFTs, but more interactive. And honestly, when I announced it in the VVS Stoner Coin green paper the other year, that was before the NFT craze really started. So unfortunately, I didn't get it launched as soon as I would like. It's still not launched, and I'm still going to launch it, and I'm still going to go for the VVS ticker symbol. However, this other one, I'm hoping it just stays within the crypto.com ecosystem with their VVS ticker symbol on there. I tweeted the other day, maybe I would, if I could, I would really like to see if I could get exchanges to work with me to allow using an emoji as a ticker symbol. I'm sure that would bring in lots and lots of money. But I want to talk more about what the concept of VVS cryptocurrency is, and not to be confused with VVS Finance's token, which has no affiliation with me, and I've never communicated with them. I've tweeted at them after being made aware. Somebody told me about them before, but I figured it was one of those tokens that would, like, that didn't really I didn't think they were actually pushing for it like in an organized way at all. There are some tokens out there that people just, make sort of for fun, but not really trying to get it listed on exchanges and that sort of thing. VVS Stoner Coin is a project that is going to be mass marketed to the cannabis industry, and the concept is starter coins that are earned must first be spent at a dispensary, a head shop, or a related type of business, and restaurants and clothing companies that are stoner friendly. So that way, in order to earn your interest that's paid out in VVS Stoner Coin, you have to do an action which adds value to the entire cryptocurrency space, because getting out there and making cryptocurrency transactions in the form of cryptocurrency where you pay with cryptocurrency and the vendor receives cryptocurrency is how mass adoption occurs. And we already have something planned. It's actually a feature that's built into a lot of exchanges where a vendor could potentially have VVS Stoner Coin converted automatically to a stable coin or Bitcoin or something else if they would prefer, rather than holding it as VVS cryptocurrency. And the way it's going to be distributed is you'll have to stake XVG Verge currency. And the way you would do that, Verge currency is a proof of work coin. It's not a proof of stake coin. But the way that you would do that, at least not at this time, unless they do some sort of crazy fork that I'm not aware of, but at this time it's a proof of work coin. But there is a unique concept that I developed just for the purpose of launching VVS Stoner Coin, and that would be using microtransactions. So sending a transaction that is worth like a fraction of a penny to link your XVG wallet to the StonerCoin.com website. Right now, it just redirects to a different website. Ignore that until the actual StonerCoin website is up. But what would happen is you would link your XVG wallet. You wouldn't have to deposit your cryptocurrency into a third-party wallet at all. You could use your own wallet, and from there, you would be able to you would automatically have a digital cannabis plant that would start growing, and you could trade those cannabis plants via microtransactions, and then you could also cash out the and harvest earned VVS coins. So let's say you have 1,000 XVG, you do your 0.02 or not 0.02, 0.2 or 0.42 XVG transaction to a vendor wallet. And let's say you've accrued 200 VVS Stoner Coin in interest since you started staking your 1,000 XVG, and you want to go spend that at a cannabis dispensary or wherever. You would use the wallet that you are staking. It's a hybrid method of staking, but use the wallet that you're staking your XVG with. And I chose XVG not just because my name is associated with it, but also because it has fast transactions, 30-second block times compared to Bitcoin's average of 10-minute transactions. So it's something that you could do without holding up the line at a dispensary or that sort of thing. Anyway, so you would send a microtransaction, and bam, once that microtransaction happens, your VVS Stoner Coin would be released to the vendor's wallet. That VVS Stoner Coin could automatically be converted by the vendor if they wanted to with a compatible exchange, or they could hold it as Stoner Coin, VVS Stoner Coin. In similarly to XVG, you'd be able to stake your VVS Stoner Coin just like you'd be able to stake your XVG. And one of the unique concepts of VVS Stoner Coin is that starting out, there would be 0 VVS Stoner Coin in circulation supply. Only once people started growing their digital cannabis plants through StonerCoin.com and harvesting their digital cannabis plants by sending a transaction to a vendor. Now, how would that work? That would work via the combination of a smart contract and SQL database. So there are all the approved StonerCoin vendors. Um, it is as not cool as it sounds uh, to be able to launch this, especially after the many SEC crackdowns. I do want to be compliant with cannabis laws and financial laws in the United States. So I would use a database of approved vendors, and as long as it's a legitimate business, that's a cannabis dispensary, that sort of thing, and then also stoner friendly businesses that don't specifically sell cannabis, but food or uh, you know head shops, glass pieces, whatever it may be. Uh, they would have their Verge Currency address in the SQL database. The customer would send a microtransaction to their XVG address. They'd receive the Stoner Coin to their Stoner Coin address, and all the customer would have to do is send one transaction from the wallet that they were using to stake their VVS Stoner Coin. Their VVS Stoner Coin plant would stay alive and not die as long as they don't send more than a microtransaction from their staking wallet. So they'd be able to harvest their Stoner Coin plant again, and 4.2% of the first, if you're of newly minted Stoner Coin, 4.2% of that. So let's say you staked 1,000 XVG, you earned 100 Stoner Coin. You spend that 100 Stoner Coin, you would get 4.2% of that as cash back to your own Stoner Coin wallet. So you would get 4.2 Stoner Coin. The vendor would get an additional 4.2 Stoner Coin, so they would get 104 0.2 Stoner Coin. That would be like cash back for the vendor. So 100 Stoner Coin would be applied to your balance, and that would just be an additional 4.2 for the vendor. And that would be to help offset cannabis related taxes and exchange related fees, making everybody happy. You would get 4.2 back to your wallet. The vendor would get an extra 4.2. And if there's liquidity in the market at that time and they decide to cash it out at that time, it's almost like financial alchemy in a way when you think about it. So those are two of the 4.2 points that are planned on being built into it. And then once the Stoner Coin is spent, you'd be able to exchange it freely, set it to any wallet, to any other wallet, regardless whether the wallet is registered or not, just like you would any other cryptocurrency. But that would be the way Stoner Coin would be distributed rather than traditional staking methods or cryptocurrency mining. And unlike some of the liquidity pool type of staking method things that are out there, this method would encourage people to actually use the cryptocurrency, and that would drive the real world mass adoption of cryptocurrency as a form of payment, which is really the next leap for cryptocurrency to become a daily financial tool, really. So there's really it's an elaborate project with lofty goals. So it was kind of annoying that somebody else went and started using the VVS ticker symbol. Um, all I can do is focus on getting this project developed and figuring out the financial aspects to do that. And that brings me to another point. There would be two other 4.2%. So you earn 100 by staking your 1,000 XVG for so many number of days or whatever. You spend that 100 Coin, you get 4.2 Stoner Coin backed. Vendors gets an additional 4.2 Stoner Coin for them. And then there would be a separate 4.2 Stoner Coin that would go towards nonprofit causes, and a separate 4.2 Stoner Coin that goes back to the company to continue to advertise, as well as sponsor and develop the cannabis plant visualizations. Um, it would be like and I'll get more into that into a minute. But first, I'll talk about the nonprofit aspect. That nonprofit aspect would not just go towards cannabis advocacy, but as well as uh, trying to help people that have been incarcerated for non-violent drug offenses to get back on their feet, and do what we can for them and their families to try to make a difference in a way forward. We really want to appreciate the people that kept the cannabis culture and industry alive while during cannabis prohibition era, and give back to the community, and help people that have been stuck in the system. And a more lofty goal would be law reform and that sort of thing, and then also acceptance. Promoting, like, potentially, like, let's say there are certain jobs that I understand why they do drug testing, like truck drivers and pilots and that sort of thing. But other types of jobs, we would highlight cases where there are discrimination against people that are drug tested and fired for having cannabis in their system, that sort of thing. And the vendor partners that we would work with, of course, would be stoner friendly companies. So yeah, that is part of it. And then another unique, interesting part of it would be that the stoner coin wallet addresses themselves would be the variables that would determine how your stoner coin cannabis plant would look, and how it'd grow, and different factors like THC, CBD, and other cannabinoid levels. So it would be really cool. So, as you know, if you're familiar with cryptocurrency, a wallet address is a combination of letters and numbers. So, the first letter, number, second letter, number, third letter, number, each of those would uh, define a trait of your cannabis plant. And that way, just like DNA strains in nature, each and every plant would be unique. And yeah, so that's something that we really want to get going and get launched and get on major exchanges. It would also be a way for people internationally in places where cannabis isn't legal, as well as our sober friends, to participate in the cannabis economy. And so yeah, so it's I think it's going to be a really fun project. I think it's going to be very lucrative. I think it's going to be able to give a lot to the community. And like I said, when it's first launched, there's going to be zero in supply, and I would like to work with exchanges. So on launch day, there is indeed zero on the exchanges, and then people have to decide to wait and harvest their stoner coin plants later on, and they'd have to do that through spending it. But the idea is that the stoner coins would uh, trickle in very slowly to the exchanges. So you can imagine, if you do crypto day trading, how strong the buy side of the order book would be when Stoner Coin is first launched, which is something that was a little bit frustrating about the VVS finance project, because there might be people that confuse VVS Stoner Coin with the VVS finance coin, and the VVS finance coin has a maximum circulation supply of 1 trillion coins, starting with like 800 billion coins or something like that. Uh, so their price per coin is fractions of a penny with many decimals. So that's going to be a bit confusing, because when Stoner Coin first launches with such a small supply, the that is going to be very different. And one of the purposes and goals is that for vendors that, cannabis businesses, like any businesses, have expenses, overhead that they have to pay, utilities, and that sort of thing. So they're going to want some liquidity for those that don't want to hold on to their stoner coin, want to exchange it. And having this sort of format, I believe, will be. My computer froze up here. 1 second. I need to turn the sleep screen setting off for when recording. Good, it's still recording, but this way I think would be best for the cannabis industry to. Well, I mean, there are major cryptocurrencies with a lot of liquidity, but this gives people incentive to actually spend their cryptocurrency, and then also it provides a cross promotion opportunity for cannabis industry dispensaries. Really want to get started with dispensaries because if somebody's participating and earned stoner coin and they have 5 dispensaries in their vicinity and 1 or 2 of those dispensaries accept stoner coin as a form of payment, they may choose to go to one of those dispensaries over the other dispensaries to spend their stoner coin. So it is also like a customer loyalty aspect built into the VVS Stoner Coin platform. So we plan on being a contender, and not just a contender, but really, take over in regards to exchange listings under the ticker symbol VVS. And I highly, I find it honestly offensive to me that they went ahead and launched that other one when they could have named it something else, because it's just going to provide, I mean, not provide, it's going to cause confusion for people that want to spend VVS Stoner Coin to buy cannabis. And if there's another coin called VVS, like, that's sort of screws things up. And there is, I could always go with a different ticker symbol, but one of the things that I've mentioned in these previous videos is the fact that there are 15,500 coins on CoinMarketCap right now. The year started with 5,000 coins. And think about it from 10, 20, 30 years from now. There's always so many names, and there's always so many projects that are going to be successful. So there's going to be a lot of disputes like these over names and ticker symbols. It is an international, somewhat unregulated market, so there's nothing that they can do to stop me from launching my coin as VVS and getting it listed on exchanges as VVS, especially considering that, I did my due diligence. I registered VVS Cryptocurrency LLC. I worked with sought out developers, and I did this all while I was very sick. I had HIV/AIDS. I'm out of the age threshold, but there was a period of time where it was uncertain whether I'd survive or not. The past 2 years, I was in the hospital a few times, so I was not able to fully focus to my maximum potential these past few years to get the project launched after I had announced it being launched, being set to launch, still not launched yet. But I just wanted to provide some details about what the project is going to be about, and some of the concepts, and to bring more revenue in without doing any sort of ICO or liquidity pool type of thing. I'm thinking of doing like sort of like an app style purchase option where people could buy cool different environments or something like that for their cannabis plants. But it would still be, each person's cannabis plant would be completely unique and still be able to earn them more VVS Stoner Coin by holding on to it, regardless of any of those embellishments. But that could be a way to bring in more revenue, which could be used to make the project more robust. And I think this makes a lot more sense. You heard my previous videos. If you haven't, maybe give it a listen. The video about liquidity pools and I compared some of those to BitConnect in a way because that was some of the format of BitConnect. And one major difference here between that sort of thing, those of the high risk, high reward type of staking, and this type of staking, which is more like traditional staking, more like traditional earning interest, is that with VVS Stoner Coin, people who participate have to also, take an action to claim their earned coins, and that is making a purchase out there in the real world, which really not only just benefits XVG and VVS Stoner Coin, it really benefits the entire cryptocurrency economy. This sort of thing is what is going to help mainstream cryptocurrency in the real world. And another thing I love about it is because I got my Gucci Mane bottle up over there. But one of the things is that um, the especially American music, rap music, there are many many mentions of VVS uh, often, and then it also goes back to especially in cannabis prohibition era. And then I do have my own opinions about a need for reform in regards to non-violent drug offenses, but um, specifically talking about cannabis and stuff, a lot of people would actually have their diamond chains, their gold chains, as a way to protect themselves, because if they were to be arrested, they would their cash could be confiscated, but they'd be able to be returned their jewelry, and that sometimes could be used for bail money or legal defense. So, if the revenues from the nonprofit aspect of VVS Stoner Coin are high enough, we'd like to be able to help support people, if paying people's bail or potentially helping with legal defenses in some sort of way. We want to make sure we spend the money in a very efficient way, the way that would help people most. There's existing cannabis focused nonprofits out there that are doing different types of good work. Um, but I want to make sure that the money is not squandered in those regards. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. And those Voldemorts over at VVS Finance, if you look at their project, it's really boring, bland, generic, plain project, at least for right now. They have some WordPress website up, and they have some glitter mine thing going on, and a crystal farm thing going on. It's like none of that even makes sense to me. It's like you're like, it seems to me that they are misusing the ticker VVS and just rushed a project that is just like corny and not really thought out. In the long run, for the long term viability of cryptocurrencies in the crypto space, there really needs to be more thought put into it, because a lot of these generic projects that you'll see, if you go through coinmarketcap.com and you look through the pages and pages and pages, there's a lot of projects out there that really just have the same concepts, the same buzzwords, the same type of generic designs on their websites, and which ones are going to last, which ones won't. Some of those have good utility, good technology, and that sort of thing. But I think a name, especially a name like VVS, has to be earned. So I did challenge VVS Finance to do the Diamond Challenge, because VVS Stoner Coin was started with the purpose of launching, with a major aspect of it to be to give back to the community and support nonprofits. Um, and then also through the for-profit aspect of VBS Stoner Coin, one of the things that we can do is sponsor artists, whether it be musicians or content creators in the cannabis industry. small businesses or something like that. We could do different types of sponsorships, like helping people. That's a different way to help people out than just the straight up nonprofit thing. But another thing is that theirs didn't have a nonprofit aspect to it. So it's like they're going to go and bogart the VVS ticker symbol and not do any sort of nonprofit thing. So what I challenged them to do, and they still haven't responded to it, but what I challenged them to do is to use a significant portion of their proceeds, and they're partnered with crypto.com, so it could be a significant portion of their proceeds as well, to support the mineral and diamond mining industries in a way that helps protect the workers and their rights and their equity in regards to making sure they're getting proper pay and proper treatment. I remember when I was younger, I saw some of the mining towns in South Africa, and it was quite rough. And I met people in Mozambique whose families members left the country to seek jobs in those mines and that sort of thing, and then didn't hear from them again. And there's a lot of lack of equity in those sort of industries. It's not just in Africa, but Africa is a main source of diamonds, and a lot of the times the money from the diamond industry um, doesn't make its way back to Africa, and a lot of times when it does, it doesn't make its way back to the people doing the hard labor. And I think there's more that can be done to really shine a light on that sort of thing and really advocate to make sure there's a difference, or to even help. They could have launched their VVS in a way to work with jewelers, and this is something that VVS Stoner Coin maybe could do in lieu of them not doing such a thing, but work with jewelers that are based locally where the diamonds and other gems are mined, to like provide them access to more international business portal so they can really get the revenue and proceeds from their work and their labor rather than getting cut out of it. And in many instances, there's just straight up human rights violations and that sort of thing. And with a name like VVS, you know, they might not be selling jewelry, they might not be selling diamonds, but the fact of the matter is that there's a ring, no pun intended, to the name VVS because of the diamond industry, and diamonds are associated with love. Diamonds are associated with all these good things, but diamonds are also associated with the human suffering that is part of the mining process. Unfortunately, has been part of the mining process. So it's just like, if they're going to profit, even if indirectly, off of all of that, I believe if they're not giving back to the community in some way, they are cursed, just like the people that on Earth, the King Tuts, who had those all calamities and stuff like that. I believe that the VVS Finances team, they're sort of making a joke out of the VVS thing with their glitter mine and everything else. They're not taking it seriously, and they created a very boring, bland website. And diamonds are supposed to be brilliant and shine, and it's just a shame and very sad what they are doing. And I think the cryptocurrency space is now valued at over $2 trillion. And so it's going to be around for a long time, and we owe it to, future generations, and just, people years from now, decades from now, to do these sort of things properly. And I think that VVS Stoner Coin will easily outshine them. No pun intended again, and do this project the right way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to launching it. I'm working on a few different things. I launched a LLC. Was at a conference in Miami earlier this year for that. and I've been doing some online e-commerce sales for Cryptocurrency Mining LLC recently, and I've just been recently getting my health back and that sort of thing. Looking forward to doing some more crypto related travel and continuing to get and hoping to go to Serbia to meet good old Nikola from you can check them out. Type it in protrade.tools. And, I plan on doing a lot of more crypto related stuff. In the past, I went and visited the Bitmain distribution center in China. I've done all sorts of travels and some just for pleasure and leisure, like going to Mexico and Jamaica and all sorts of different places around the world, Florida, and all sorts of stuff, fun stuff. And I plan on doing more of that. You'll be able to see that not only on my Twitter page but on this YouTube channel as well. And I think it'll be good. And the cannabis industry or the cannabis community is really a global, worldwide community. I need to watch it because in some places, they still are, very not accepting of it. However, they do realize, even in places that are not accepting of cannabis, that there is money in the industry, and they want to take part in that at least. So, there's progress to be made, but I think there is a path forward, and it is I think cryptocurrency and VVS Stoner Coin can at least play a role in doing that. And got a phone call right now. It's on but I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to say in this video. So thank you for watching. The video is getting a little too long anyway. So yep, have a good one. Peace out.